Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I've taken 25 selfies in the last 10 minutes.
26.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
And welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. Another week behind the desk, and I cannot wait to dive into everything happening in Auburn athletics.
Same here, and I'm excited to be on the desk with you tonight, Cohen. Baseball weather has been perfect on the Plains. Equestrian is still ranked #1. Tennis is rolling, and March Madness is right around the corner. So, Cohen, is your bracket ready?
Oh, it's ready, and I've got a feeling you won't be surprised who I have cutting down the nets, and it's not Auburn.
Well, I guess that's fine. Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Lydia Wellborn.
And I'm Cohen Dahl-South. Let's get started with Auburn men's basketball.
Auburn hit the road this past weekend, traveling to Norman for the first time in program history to take on SEC newcomer Oklahoma.
And despite the Sooners sitting in the bottom 5 of the conference standings, it didn't look like it. Oklahoma had 4 players score in double figures and shot nearly 70% from beyond the arc.
That red-hot shooting was too much for the Tigers to handle, as the Sooners handed Auburn a 91-79 loss.
Offensively, Auburn had its moments. Keyshawn Hall and Kevin Overton each poured in 26 points, trying to keep the Tigers within striking distance.
But the bigger story was on the defensive end. Auburn's struggles guarding the three-point line continued, a trend that's followed them over the last few games.
Right now, the Tigers are allowing opponents to shoot nearly 40% from deep, and that's opening the doors for teams, even those lower in the standings, to outshoot and outpace the Tigers.
If the Tigers want to get back on track, tightening up perimeter defense has to be the first step.
Auburn came back to Neville Arena looking for a win to keep them on the right side of the NCAA tournament bubble against an Ole Miss team that has been floundering in SEC play.
Sam Houghton was in attendance and has more for you courtside from Neville Arena.
Auburn looks to bounce back in SEC play and keep their tournament hopes alive as Ole Miss comes to town. Saturday night, the Auburn Tigers returned home looking to snap their recent skid, hosting the Ole Miss Rebels, who are currently on a 10-game losing streak. Early on, it was a back-and-forth battle, both teams making their shots, including Tahad Pettiford with this monster dunk. Auburn kept things tight in the first half, trailing by just 1 at the break, 38-37. Coming out of halftime, the Tigers brought the energy, knocking down threes to spark an 11-2 run, and a three-point play from Tahad Pettiford pushed Auburn to an 8-point lead with over 17 minutes left. But then, the momentum shifted. Auburn made mistakes and Ole Miss caught fire, scoring 27 of the next 34 points, while Auburn went nearly 6 minutes without a field goal, turning a lead into a double-digit deficit midway through the second half. The Rebels' offense was led by A.J. Storr and Patton Pinkins, who each dropped 26 points, silencing the Neville Arena crowd. Still, Auburn didn't go away quietly. A 16-4 Tiger run cut the lead to just 2 points, led by Tahad Pettiford, who was the leading Auburn scorer with 24 points, while Keyshawn Hall added 21. But every time Auburn got close, Ole Miss had an answer. A clutch three from Ilias Kamardine and steady free throws down the stretch sealed it. Auburn falls 85-79 to the Rebels, a loss that deals a major blow to the Tigers' postseason hopes and marks their 7th loss in the last 8 games. Auburn falls to 15-14 overall and 6-10 SEC play. The Tigers look to regroup quickly as LSU comes to Neville Arena on Tuesday. I'm Sam Halton, Eagle Eye TV.
The Tigers are back in action tonight as they host the Tigers from the Bayou. It's Auburn and LSU clashing in Neville Arena with a late 9 p.m. tip-off on the Plains.
And it is a big one, the final regular season home game of the year and senior night. So if you can grab a coffee, stay up, and pack Neville Arena for one last home showdown.
When we come back from the break, Eagle Eye insider Kevin Corso will join us in the studio to talk key players on the court and some who didn't get past the bench. Don't go anywhere.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
What's up, Tiger fans? It's Kevin Corso soaring into the studio tonight. Welcome back to Eagle Eye Insider, where we break down the good, the bad, and everything in between when it comes to Auburn sports. The Tiger season is deep into disappointment territory for first-year coach Stephen Pearl, who was handed the job from his father and former Final Four coach Bruce earlier this year with big expectations. The Tigers have gone through some bumps this season, but they hit a particularly huge bump this past weekend that puts March hopes in jeopardy. Coming off a tough road stretch that saw scrappy losses in the SEC slate, Auburn returned home needing a statement win. Instead, Ole Miss delivered. The Rebels snapped a 10-game losing streak, beating Auburn 85-79. The bulk of the Tiger offense again came from Tahad Pettiford and Keyshawn Hall, who combined for more than half of Auburn's points with 45. However, it was not enough to keep up with Ole Miss's 10 threes and 53.4% clip from the field. Sorry about that, we're having some technical difficulties. We're all right. Show goes on. At times, Auburn seems like they could take control of the game, leading early into the second half until the Rebels went on a 22-4 run, silencing the crowd in Neville Arena. Ole Miss was led by A.J. Storr and Patton Pinkins, who each contributed 26 points in the win. Now looking ahead, head coach Stephen Pearl shared his thoughts on what Auburn will expect from LSU tonight. Take a listen.
I mean, they're 3-6 in true road games this year, and that's all three of their SEC wins have been on the road. So, that tells you everything you need to know right there. That they might be more comfortable away from home. So, our guys got to really be locked in, and Ole Miss is kind of the same way. Ole Miss, that was their third true road win as well. So that's another team that might be better on the road than they are at home. So. Got to understand that they're going to be coming in because they just came off a difficult one at home, similar to us, and they're going to be coming in here fighting for everything.
It's fine. Yeah. Okay. Up next, Auburn will host LSU for a Battle of the Tigers. This game is huge for Auburn, who just slipped below 500 and sits at a dreary 6-10 in SEC play. This is looking to be another tough one for Auburn, whose scoring primarily comes from the two guys mentioned before, Pettiford and Hall. The lack of scoring from the rest of Auburn could be an issue in this one. LSU was strong defensively. They like to clog the paint and push momentum to the other end of the court after defensive stops, in turn making opponents pay for turnovers. LSU also tends to out-rebound opponents, which will make the class for the glass absolutely crucial in this one. For Auburn to win, they need to limit turnovers, get good minutes from the bench, and get scoring contributions from outside of Pettiford and Hall. If Auburn fails to play with some grit and balance, it could be an uphill battle in Neville Arena. And that's all I have for you guys today, but stick with us when we come back. We're going to talk all things on the baseball diamond. Stay with us.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew.
Baseball has been absolutely killing it lately. Number 7 Auburn baseball hosted West Georgia in a midweek matchup on a night when several top teams around the country got upset.
And for a moment, it looked like Auburn might join that list. The Tigers trailed for most of the game, including in the bottom of the 9th, with 2 outs and their backs against the wall.
But that's when the magic happened. Freshman Ethan Bingaman ripped a single down the line to keep the game alive.
And then star slugger sophomore Bub Terrell followed it up with a clutch base hit that drove in the winning run.
Auburn walked it off in dramatic fashion 4-3, avoiding the midweek shakeup and defending Plainsman Park.
The Tigers survived the scare and stayed right where they belong in the national conversation.
Number 7 Auburn baseball continued at Plainsman Park in a weekend full of drama, dropping a heartbreaker on Friday night before bouncing back in a big way.
Friday's series opener went to extra innings where Auburn put the tying run on 3rd and the winning run on 2nd in the 10th, but ultimately fell to Nebraska 9-8.
Despite striking out a season-high 18 batters and not issuing a walk, the Tigers couldn't overcome 7 Nebraska extra base hits in the loss.
But Saturday was a different story. Auburn responded with a 15-4 run rule win in front of the largest non-conference regular season crowd in program history.
Freshman Mason McCrane led the charge with 4 hits and 6 RBIs, including a 2-run homer that ended the game early.
Junior Eric Guevara and sophomore Bub Terrell also contributed to the slugfest, each with home runs of their own.
The Tigers racked up 6 extra base hits in that one, and Christian Chatterton shut the door on the mound with 4 strikeouts in relief.
Then on Sunday, Auburn finished the job, taking the series with a 12-3 win.
Chase Freilich delivered the highlight swing of the day with a 3-run shot that left his bat at 110 miles an hour.
And Alex Petrovic improved to 3-0, allowing just 2 runs while striking out 7.
The series win marks Auburn's 11th straight regular season home series victory, and the first time since 2024 the Tigers have won a series after dropping the opener.
Auburn now sits at 9-2 and is currently continuing its homestand against in-state rival Samford in Plainsman Park for another midweek clash.
The current score for the game is 2-0. The Tigers host Winthrop this weekend for 3 more chances to add winning marks to their record.
Now sending it over to Barrett to continue our men's minute on the golf.
Thanks, Lydia. The men's golf team traveled to compete in the Southern Highlands Collegiate, which began Sunday, March 1st and continues through March 3rd in Las Vegas. After round 1, Jackson Coyven is currently tied for second place at 5 under par. His teammate, Josiah Gilbert, is tied for 4th at 4 under. As a team, the Tigers are sitting in second place overall, setting them best of luck for the rest of the tournament. Up next, the team will compete in the Hyatt Invitational on Saturday, March 7th. We're sending them lots of luck as they hit the course again. Now, put on those track shoes and lace them up tight because we're talking all things Auburn track and field. The team competed in the SEC championships in February 26th through the 28th in Bryan College Station in Texas, and they showed out. Jacoby Thorpe proves why he's on just about every watch list that you can imagine. He brought home the SEC title in the 60-meter hurdles for the second time in a row. Bang-Aid Hogg continues to dominate in the shot put with a throw of 18.73 meters. She has now broken her own school record and became the first Auburn thrower in program history to win an SEC indoor title. Kyansola Hajahi was crowned SEC champion in the 60-meter finals with a time of 6.45. His performance tied the collegiate record. Other medalists for Auburn were Israel Okoan placing third in men's 60 meters and Diana Nebhard placing second in women's 60-meter hurdles. Moving on, we're hitting the tennis courts. Number 18 men's tennis team took on Tennessee on Friday, February 27th. The Tigers were able to pull out a close 4-3 victory. The star of the night was the sophomore Hamazah Nazari-Noroff, who earned a 3-set win on the number 1 singles position and delivered the clinching point for the Tigers. Head coach Bobby Reynolds said that the match didn't start the way they wanted, but the team played scrappy tennis and found a way to get the win. Then, after a quick turnaround, the Tigers faced Mississippi State on Sunday, March 1st. The match didn't go their way as Auburn fell 2-5. But they bounced back later that day against Eastern Kentucky State, turning things around with a strong 4-0 win to close out the weekend. Up next, the Tigers will be back at home to face Charlotte on Friday, March 6th. So make sure to go out and support the team before you head off for your vacation. Now, I'm throwing it back to the desk because I hear they've got all information on swim and dive.
That's right, Barrett. Auburn Swim and Dive was making waves on Friday and Saturday as they met for their last chance invite.
Campbell Perry was at the James E. Martin Aquatic Center and will take you poolside with more.
After coming off of an impressive finish at SEC Championships, Auburn Swim and Dive competes one final time at home this season in their last chance meet on February 27th and 28th. The Tigers are gearing up to take on the biggest stage this season at the NCAA Championships.
Across the board, Auburn delivered one of its strongest weekends of the season, highlighted by multiple top 10 performances in program history and a near school record in the breaststroke events. The Tigers showed depth in every class, with newcomers and veterans alike climbing the all-time list and stacking season-best swims at exactly the right time. From sprint events to distance races, Auburn tightened up details, dropped time, and built momentum heading into March. Now, with the NCAA selections around the corner and divers preparing for zones, the Tigers have done everything they can in the pool.
Auburn gave everything they had in the pool today, chasing NCAA qualifying cuts or just trying for a better seat in every race. The NCAA Championships will take place throughout the month of March, and these Tigers are ready to compete. That's all for Eagle Eye. I'm Campbell Perry.
Next up for Auburn Swim and Dive is the NCAA Zone B Championships in Atlanta, where Auburn Diving will have a chance to punch some tickets to the NCAA Championships later this year.
After that, it's on to NCAA Championship season, with the women's qualifiers being announced on March 5th and the men's qualifiers a week later on the 12th.
Speaking of the pool, we have some swim and dive trivia to test your knowledge. Former Auburn swimmer Kirsty Coventry has how many Olympic medals? Is it A, 4, B, 5, C, 6, or D, 7?
We'll have the answer when we come back, along with the start of our Women's Watch. Stick around.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
I was living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision. Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent.
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world. Told you she's super smart. If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at she.
Former Auburn swimmer Kirsty Coventry has how many Olympic medals? Is it A, 4, B, 5, C, 6, or D, 7? If you guessed the letter D, you would be correct. We love to see Auburn alum represent our school and country so well. Now let's switch on over to the stables. Number 1, Auburn Equestrian picked up a massive SEC road win Saturday, taking down number 3 Georgia 11-9 at the UGA Equestrian Complex.
And that one did not come easy. The Tigers had a slim 8-7 lead heading into reigning, needing 3 points to clinch the meet.
Junior Callie Hogg got things started with a 72-71 win to push Auburn ahead, and freshman Sophia Teach followed with a career-high 72.25, earning her first career mop and giving the Tigers a 10-7 advantage.
Georgia answered to make it 10-8, but senior Caroline Buchanan delivered under pressure, scoring a 70.75 to seal the team victory.
Auburn won 3 of 4 most outstanding performer honors on the day. Tish in reining, Caroline Olson in fences, and Caroline Fredenberg in horsemanship.
The Tigers set the tone early, grabbing a 6-4 lead after fences thanks to a dominant 4-1 performance in the event.
With the win, Auburn improves to 8-2 on the season and continues to build momentum heading into the postseason.
The Tigers close out the regular season March 7th at home against number 5 Texas A&M, and admission is free at the Auburn University Equestrian Center.
Now, Barrett, I hear you've got some good news from the women's tennis team.
Yes, I do, Lydia. It's women's tennis time, and you're going to want to listen up because our Lady Tigers just keep getting better. The team competed at home against Arkansas on Saturday, February 28th for their SEC home opener. The Tigers defended their home court with a dominant 4-0 win. This was a huge SEC victory for the team. And the energy at Yarborough Tennis Center was electric. 389 fans were in attendance, setting a new regular season home attendance record. It's awesome to see Auburn fans showing up and supporting the Tigers. They were back in action at home again later that day against Eastern Kentucky. Auburn completely shut them down with an impressive 7-0 sweep. Up next, the Tigers will face another tough SEC matchup as they take on Ole Miss on Thursday, March 5th. Now, let's head on over to the Diamond. Women's softball has been ramping up their season in a big way. First, the Tigers played Troy at home on Thursday, February 26th. It was a close one, but Auburn pulled out with an 8-7 win. They faced Troy again on Friday, February 27th, and this time they meant business. Michaela Walker blasted her second Grand Slam of the season, giving the Tigers an early 5-0 lead. Auburn dominated on all fronts and secured a strong 10-4 win over the Trojans. Later that day, the Tigers took on Virginia Tech. The game started strong with junior Mania Womack hitting a 2-run home run to give the Auburn the early lead. However, the Hokies caught fire and went on to take the game 9-5. The action kept on rolling as Auburn faced USC Upstate at home on Saturday, February 28th, and again on March 1st. On Saturday, the mound was on fire as Ella Harrison struck out 13 batters, setting a new season high in strikeouts. The offense backed her up, and the Tigers ran away with a 13-5 victory over the Spartans. Sunday told a similar story. The Tigers continued to battle and earned another win, taking a 2-1 win. Coming up, Auburn will be back at home on Friday, March 6th to take on Kentucky, so make sure you show up and show out and cheer on your Tigers. Now, the desk is going to take it over and talk all things about gymnastics.
Thanks, Barrett. Number 15, Auburn Gymnastics hit the road Friday night for an SEC showdown against top-ranked Oklahoma, falling to the Sooners 197.975 to 196.15 inside the Lloyd Noble Center.
But despite the final score, the Tigers put together a competitive performance against the #1 team in the nation.
Auburn opened on bars with a 49.175, highlighted by Emma Grace Boyd's career-high 9.9 and a season-best 9.875 from Olivia Greaves.
Vault was a bright spot for the Tigers as well, scoring a 49.300. Marissa Neal and Bryn Torrey each notched career-high 9.9s, while Paige Zancan posted a 9.925 to share the Vault title.
Neal continued to shine on the floor with a team-high 9.85, and she anchored beam with a 9.875 in the final rotation.
Neal and Alex Irvine led the way on the beam, while Greaves and Huff competed in the all-around for Auburn.
The Tigers now return to the Plains for a non-conference matchup with number 11 Michigan State Thursday night at 7 p.m. in Neville Arena.
And they'll follow that up with a Sunday quad meet in Huntsville for the annual Elevate the Stage event.
Now transitioning over to the green, we have some women's golf updates. The number 5 Tigers opened play yesterday at the Darius Rucker Intercollegiate in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and currently sat in 3rd place after round 1.
Auburn opened the tournament with a 10 over par 294, good for 3rd place after round 1. The Tigers recorded 13 birdies, the second most in the field, but a few costly big numbers kept them from staying right there with the lead.
Round 2 saw Auburn shoot a 9 over 293, bringing their 2-day total to 19 over 587. Texas currently leads the tournament at 1 under with 1 round to play.
Freshman Charlotte Cantonis had been a bright spot for the Tigers. After a 73 in round 1, she fired a 1 under 70 on Tuesday and is tied for 9th at 1 over par.
Molly Brown-Davidson and Anna Davis are both tied for 38th at 6 over, while Karis Warby bounced back with a 2 over and 73 in the second round.
Now Auburn sits tied for 8th and will tee off the final round tomorrow morning, looking to put together a strong finish and move up the leaderboard.
Now sending it over to Barrett to talk women's basketball.
Thanks, Lydia. Well, it's basketball time. The Tigers were back home on Thursday, February 26th, to take on number 16, the Kentucky Wildcats. Sports reporter Gunnar Noreen has more courtside details on that match for you. Take a look.
It's senior night for Auburn women's basketball as the Tigers host number 16 ranked Kentucky here in Neville Arena to wrap up the 2026 home slate.
Auburn honored its 5 seniors on Thursday night, including Ingena Bayoso, Jamia Harris, Maya Petticord, Ariel Jackson, and Caitlin Duhan. However, the top 20 Wildcats ultimately played spoiler on the Tigers' special night, emerging victorious 63-56. Harris put Auburn on the board first, but Kentucky came out firing as Amelia Hassett knocked down 2 quick threes to kickstart the Wildcats' offense. Hassett led the Cats in scoring on the night, posting 15 points on 5 for 8 from downtown. A turnover and missed threes by Auburn allowed Kentucky to jump out to a quick 10-2 lead, forcing the Tigers to call a timeout just 2 minutes and 1 second into the game. However, Auburn eventually settled in as Harris found her way downhill and got sophomore forward Hadi Lay involved inside. The Tigers only trailed by 8 at the break, but poor perimeter shooting all around dug themselves a 19-point deficit just a few minutes into the fourth quarter. Auburn went just 2 for 11 from beyond the arc, with Petticord going 0 for 6. But Auburn did not go down without a fight, as 17 total Kentucky turnovers in the game led to multiple scoring opportunities down the stretch in transition for the Tigers. Lay made her presence known as well, as she tied a career-high 20 points, with 16 of those coming in the second half. However, it was not enough to overcome, as late buckets from Hassett and Clara Strack secured the 7-point Kentucky win. Here's what Auburn head coach Larry Vickers had to say after the loss.
But I felt like this could be one that we could have snuck today, similar to the Oklahoma game here at home. And, you know, that first, because of senior night, I just felt like we got off to a super slow start. And after that, we played them kind of even. But I just wish overall we could have had a better start. You know, against a team that good, you have to be good for 40 minutes. We can't take breaks. And that first 3 minutes were absolutely.
The Tigers fall to 3-12 in SEC play, and they take on Arkansas on Sunday to wrap up the SEC regular season. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Gunnar Noreen.
Next up, the team faced another SEC opponent as they took on Arkansas on Sunday, March 1st. Once again, the Tigers couldn't find their rhythm, and the Razorbacks pulled away with a 70-41 win. However, we may have an all-SEC defensive team player in the making. Caitlin Duhan is putting up impressive numbers. She ranks number 7th in the nation in total steals, 2nd in SEC play, and with 45 steals, and is one of only 5 players in the country with at least 90 steals and 20 blocks. Well, looking ahead, the Tigers will compete in the SEC tournament from Wednesday, March 4th through March 8th in Greenville. Auburn enters the tournament as the 15th seed. We're sending them lots of luck. Finally, here's an update on women's soccer for their spring season. The team traveled to Huntsville to face Mississippi State on Saturday, February 28th. Unfortunately, the Tigers struggled to find any offense and fell 3-0. Later that day, they took on North Alabama, and this match had a much better outcome. The Tigers battled hard and picked up a 1-0 win over North Alabama. Well, that's all I have for you today, so I'm throwing it back to the desk so they can wrap it up with some sports trivia.
Thanks, Barrett. I always love to be in the studio with you. Now for one last trivia question. What women's sport set their season attendance record this year? Is it A, tennis, B, basketball, C, gymnastics, or D, equestrian? We'll have the answer when we come back, along with everyone's favorite segment, Trending Tigers. You don't want to miss it.
My parents weren't fluent in English, so in school I had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before the break, Lydia had a trivia question for you guys. To jog your memory, what women's sport set their season attendance record this year? Was it A, tennis, B, basketball, C, gymnastics, or D, equestrian? If you guessed the letter B, you would be correct. The Lady Tigers set their season attendance record with 57,011 fans.
Now it's time to talk all things Trending Tigers. First, we have to talk about someone we all love. It was Avi the Tiger's 47th birthday. Avi is an 11-time UCA national champ and, in my opinion, the best mascot in the world.
You know, I have to agree with that, Lydia. Avi is definitely the drippiest mascot, but he's not alone with his great fits. The basketball team has been killing at this lately with their pregame wear.
They really have, Cohen. I mean, first Drake Cardwell, he never fails to bring the drip to Neville. I'm a big fan of these pieces.
I think Drake looks great, but we cannot forget about Sebastian Williams-Adams, who showed up and hit this pose. This fit was definitely out of the ballpark.
Caden Magwood was also fitted up, and I am a big fan of the spider hoodie and jeans combo, I can't lie.
Finally, of course, as you all probably saw coming, Tahad Give Me 3 Pettiford took first place for fits, and I can see why. He's a showstopper on sometimes and off the court.
Well, on that note, that's all we have in store for today. For more Sports Night in Auburn and Eagle Eye Sports, follow our Instagram and Twitter pages. Make sure to subscribe right here on YouTube and tune in every single week. Until next week, I'm Lydia Wellborn.
For all of us here in the Eagle Eye studio, Kevin and Barrett, and everyone behind the camera, our producers are Johnny Kenninger and Madison Seidel. I'm Cohen Dalzell, and this has been Sports Night in Auburn. Good night, and War Eagle.
I did not.
I'm lit.